person everyone admires and wants to be around? That was her. But one day everything changed. During undergrad, Mona met a different kind of guy, and that left her intrigued and in love. Now Mona has only one mission: to win Kuroiwa over. It all started when Mona was born. She already stood out. Growing up, no matter where she went, everyone around her was captivated by her beauty. At the park, at school, even during playtime, everyone always wanted to be near her. As she got older, nothing changed. People continued to admire her, and Mona was sure everyone liked her. Well, almost everyone. At school, while everyone greeted her enthusiastically, Kuroiwa was the only. This intrigued Mona. She tried starting a conversation, getting so close. That hurt Mona's pride, but instead of giving up, she became even more determined to get his attention. In one of those attempts, Mona noticed Mona was speechless. How could anyone was the first person not to with another plan? She climbed a ladder now. However, when Kuroiwa walked by, he just got annoyed by her obvious attempt to grab his attention. Mona realized her plan A hadn't worked, so she decided to try plan B. She climbed the ladder again, pretending it was accidental. Mona feels like she's gone too far. She tries to apologize but realizes she's on top of him, and he still looks annoyed, frustrated. She accidentally opens her blouse and says it was an accident. Mona is desperate to make Kuroiwa finally give in, but he just furrows his brow and stays composed. Irritated, Mona causes a scene, making the mattress fall to the floor with both of them on it. Kuroiwa, concerned, asks if she's hurt. For the first time, he seems a bit closer. Mona seizes the moment but quickly realizes her blouse is still open. Embarrassed, she asks him to let her go. Kuroiwa, also flustered, quickly stands up, assuring her it wasn't his intention. Before leaving, he tells me he truly loves. Those words leave Mona speechless. She finds herself smiling without realizing it, then immediately gets annoyed with herself. What's going on? Is she starting to feel something for him? That wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to ask if Mona is okay. And she thanks Kuroiwa. This boy fall in love with me. The next day, Mona arrives at school and is greeted by everyone, as always. She's the kind of person who he just gives her a polite. Mona notices something different. He's finally wearing the school uniform. Even so, he still seems indifferent. As them, Asahi gets nervous when she sees him but tries to hide it. During gym class attention, she stretches in a super graceful way. All the boys are mesmerized, but the only one she really wants to notice her is shouts for Kuroiwa to stretch with her, but he completely ignores her. This irritates the other boys, who are bothered to smile, even her charming personality, but nothing has worked. Remembering Kuroiwa's comment about saving certain things for someone special, Mona decides to ignore his advice. After all, she's willing. Mona is exhausted, her body covered in a light sheen of sweat. She wipes her face, unintentionally showing a bit of her abdomen. The boys around her nearly lose their minds, but Kuroiwa only glances for a second before walking away, murmuring, "Clear mind, light spirit." Once again defeated, Mona decides to follow him. Maybe, just maybe, he's starting to crack. While drinking water, Mona accidentally bumps into the faucet, causing water to spray all over her, soaking her shirt completely. Kuroiwa turns bright red, clearly embarrassed by the situation. Mona screams, trying to cover herself, but her wet shirt leaves everything visible. In an unexpected act of kindness, Kuroiwa takes off his own shirt and hands it to Mona to cover her scene with curiosity. It must smell, but the friends persist, pressing him to explain. Finally, Kuroiwa takes them to a park to talk. Because of this, he has certain vows to uphold. He's not allowed to get close to girls or even think about dating. He explains that he's never had a girlfriend because, in his village, he only had two options: an arranged marriage with an older woman or a goat. Because of this, he doesn't know how to deal with girls, especially someone like Mona, who seems to understand his behavior. Kuroiwa doesn't ignore Mona on purpose. He simply doesn't know how to act around her. On top of that, he's trying to resist the temptations of the big city, which are completely different from his quiet village life. Just anyone like Mona in real life. He recalls all her efforts and bold displays over the past few days and concludes that, for him, it feels like stepping into the major leagues with no training at all. Kuroiwa's friends understand his perspective, but they still insist. Dude, it wouldn't hurt to be just a little nicer to Mona. Kuroiwa reluctantly agrees, though deep down, he knows that if he lets his guard down even a little, he might end up falling for her. And he doesn't want to betray the vows of his religion for a girl. For him, it's as simple as that. But then, without realizing it, he starts imagining what it would be like to go out with Mona. The thought comes out of nowhere to himself. Clear mind, pure spirit. His friends finally understand why he keeps repeating that phrase and wearing that serious expression. It's his way of pushing away any thought transferred to the school to strengthen his mind and avoid getting lost in worldly desires. The next day, he quietly murmurs once again, clear mind, pure spirit.
In the art room, the whole class watches excitedly as Mona strikes different world. But the worst part? He doesn't even react. That annoys Mona even more because, come on, it was just a joke. Still, she's convinced that today is the day he'll finally notice her. The art project requires them to draw each other, so Mona hatches an unstoppable plan. She looks up different poses, searching for the one that will make his danger, and tries to focus on the Virgin of Guadalupe to keep his mind pure. But when Mona changes her pose, his blood pressure spikes. Desperate, he enters monk-level meditation mode to stop himself from thinking anything inappropriate. The activity begins, and Kuroiwa is fully focused on how he can stay so calm with her posing right in front of him. At the same time, another classmate keeps staring at Mona. Her model notices and scolds her, focus on your own drawing instead of looking at other people. That's when Mona realizes this girl is looking at her even more than Kuroiwa is. Curious, she asks him, what part are you drawing now? He replies, your neck. Boom! Heat rushes through Mona. It feels like he's devouring her with his eyes. She can't take it anymore and runs out of the room, locking herself in the bathroom. Sitting there, she thinks, that's exactly how he should be looking at me all the time. Meanwhile, back in the classroom, everyone gathers around Kuroiwa's drawing. It's impressively detailed. They ask him what he plans to do with it, and just as his mind starts drifting to dangerous thoughts, he quickly returns to his prayers. Later, in the library, Kuroiwa goes to grab a book for his homework, but at that exact moment, Mona grabs the same book. She smiles. Wow, what a coincidence. Fate, maybe? Or divine intervention? She suggests they read together, but Kuroiwa politessely hands her the book and walks away while saying a prayer. Mona is devastated, but then she notices that same classmate from art class spying on her. At first, she doesn't care, but then she realizes the girl isn't watching her. She's watching Kuroiwa. Panic mode activated. After all this effort, there's no way she's letting someone else swoop in and take him. Oh no, sweetheart. I've been working on this guy for way too long. There's no way I'm losing now. She knows Kuroiwa still hasn't fallen for her charms, which means there's only one thing left to do. It's time to take action. Now's the moment. Mona needs to give it her all to win over Kuroiwa. So, she sits right in front of him, holding a cup of tea and wearing glasses that make her look super intellectual. Does she actually know another language? Nope, but that's not the point. The plan is to show a different students who are always showering her with praise are shocked by this new vibe, and they don't even complain about her breaking the library rules by drinking tea inside. Mona smirks. This is the perfect moment to activate my genius mode. The atmosphere passes, but he quickly looks away to avoid any dangerous thoughts. Mona notices, and she acts fast. She lightly brushes her foot against his leg, sending a shiver down his spine. Our Father, who art in heaven, protect me, Kuroiwa prays, trying to keep his focus. Mona knows she almost got him, so with a sweet look, she asks, what do you think of me? Kuroiwa suddenly stands up. That's enough. She failed. Again. Meanwhile, Haruno watches the whole scene like she's at the movies, completely fascinated. Mona notices something. Haruno is totally smitten with Kuroiwa. Great! As if winning over this stubborn guy wasn't hard enough. Now she has a rival. Mona starts spying on Haruno to figure out what kind of girl she is. And what does she find? Haruno, watering the school's flower 7 though nobody asked her to. Teacher's pet, Mona thinks. Then, she sees Haruno in class, reading quietly and erasing the chalkboard even though it's not her job. Oh no. Not only is she pretty, but she's an angel too. Mona realizes she's at a huge disadvantage. In the locker room, she decides to investigate further. She sneaks a peek and notices that Haruno has a really nice figure. Her friends even compliment her, and Haruno, all shy, says she's embarrassed to be looked at like that. Unlike Mona, Haruno is modest. That's the last straw. Mona storms out to the school track and starts running, trying to burn off her frustration. Back in the classroom, Mona admits to herself, Haruno is way sweeter and more delicate than she is. And if that's the kind of girl Kuroiwa likes, then she's doomed. But then something happens. A boy walks up to Mona and hands her a book she had asked for. She smiles, thanks him, and speaks to him in such a soft and affectionate way that the poor guy practically melts on the spot. And that's when it hits her. I've never treated Kuroiwa like this. I've never showered him with compliments. I've never even told him I like him. And just like that, a new idea is born. On the school rooftop, Kuroiwa is relaxing, feeling the wind on his face, when out of nowhere a handkerchief flies toward him. He catches it midair, and then Mona appears, smiling. Thanks for catching my handkerchief. She pretends to be suppressed cute, charming. Now all she has to do is start a conversation, and before he realizes it, he'll be completely in love with her. I love coming here to relax too, Mona says, flipping her hair and giving him a look full of meaning. Kuroiwa just hands back the handkerchief, trying not to fall into her trap. Mona is determined. She wants to tell Kuroiwa how much she likes him, but when the moment comes, instead of confessing her love, what comes out of her mouth? I think you're disgusting. Kuroiwa, utterly confused, just says, I swear I didn't look under your skirt. Mona decides that's a problem for later. Right now, time is ticking, and she can't lose this battle to Haruno. The next day, the school festival committee elections begin. Each student picks a slip of paper to see if they've been chosen. Kuroiwa checks his, not selected. Oh, what a shame. Haruno picks hers first selected. Mona picks her second selected. Great. Now she'll have to spend days working side by side with her rival. Haruno, always polite, smiles and says, It'll be a pleasure working with you, Mona. Mona smiles back, but in her head, she's mentally listing every insult she knows. After class, the two meet to decide what to do for the festival. The options: a themed cafe, a play, or a haunted house. Haruno asks Mona what her class did in middle school. A costume cafe, Mona replies. Haruno loves the idea. She even says Mona would look adorable in a cute outfit. No way, Mona snaps, already picturing herself in some huge, ridiculous costume that would hide all her charm. As they spend more time together, Mona tries to figure Haruno out. After all, they're stuck in a weird love triangle where only Mona is actually fighting for Kuroiwa. Haruno, ever smiling, offers her one. Mona takes it, suspicious. Then Haruno's phone rings. She freezes, eyes wide. She grabs it quickly and hides the screen. Mona notices immediately. What was that? Haruno looks nervous. Nothing. Step back. And then Haruno takes off running. Mona doesn't think twice. She sprints after her like she's escaping immigration. Show me that phone right now, Mona yells. Haruno doesn't answer. If you don't show me, I'll hate you. Haruno suddenly stops. She turns to Mona, eyes filled with fear. Just, please don't hate me. Mona is completely lost, but she goes in for the attack anyway. She lunges, tackles Haruno, and the phone flies through the air. She catches it, and she is shocked. Haruno's wallpaper is her, Mona. Haruno turns red as a tomato and starts crying. Please don't hate me, Haruno begs. I've been your #1 fan since I saw you at the entrance ceremony. Mona, who was ready to destroy Haruno, now has no idea how to react. Haruno, completely flustered, confesses that she's always thought Mona was amazing. She loved how she made everyone smile and wanted to be able to see her all the time. So she started taking a few pictures of her. But don't worry, nothing weird, just around 300 photos. Mona, still in shock, realizes Haruno wasn't following Kuroiwa. She was following her. Haruno tries to explain, saying she was going to change her wallpaper before Mona saw it so she wouldn't think she was weird. But well, too late for that. Mona laughs, pulls Haruno into a hug, and assures her it's not weird. Oh, but I think it is. Seriously, don't take photos of people without permission. That's creepy. Life tip. During the hug, Mona suddenly remembers while running. She accidentally confessed that she likes Kuroiwa. Crap. Thinking fast, she blurts out an excuse. Oh, I was talking about a fish. Yeah, a fish named Kuroiwa. My pet fish. Haruno narrows her eyes. Really? A fish? Yes, a very special little fish. The problem? Haruno has 300 photos of Mona and has noticed how much she's changed since Kuroiwa arrived. So this excuse is absolute garbage. But instead of calling her out, Haruno smiles and says, If you need help winning him over, I'm here for you. Mona rolls her eyes. How annoying when someone doesn't listen to what you're saying. Oh, and if you read this far, comment Exquisito down below. Thanks a million. See you in the next video.